Okay, welcome back. Movie Club Movies bonus podcast. A real instant cast from a great suggestion from a movie club. L brought up the new movie, The Hail Mary Project, starring Ryan Gosling. Great suggestion, which led me to a neighborhood local drive-in theater playing that movie. Hop, skip, and a scotch. 2 weekends later, I get my ticket. Here's where the adventure begins. Back using the new mic, I'm adjusting the volume of my voice just slightly, hoping for a clear mix. Not finding the balance just yet. I wanted to mention my rolling up to the movie theater. Big long drive, and I was parked behind a car, decked out in racing stripes and all. I was second in line, had a nice patient wait for them to pull up the cars and start processing that there were more people behind me, and that was great.
This is a special The Movie Club Movies podcast, and I'm really excited to tell you and to surprise you all that Movie Club Movies is going to the drive-in tonight. I'm parked, waiting in this car line. I think I'm the second in line. Maybe I can get into some of the rules and regulations I went through to get this ticket and things. But this ticket is coming to you from L's suggestion about the new movie, The Hail Mary Project, starring Ryan Gosling. I watched the trailer after talking to Elle about this movie. Then she saw this movie. It's worth checking out. And thanks, Elle. And also, I'm here to do that. I want to just give this intro to what's going on, because I'm just sitting here waiting, and I think they just are not ready to roll the circus. But it's interesting so far. I don't want to talk out loud and get crazy. I don't know how well you can even hear this. Maybe I can get into some of the details along the way. We'll see where this episode goes. This is a surprise. Elle's a great sport at always serving up some random choices, as we all are out there just watching things, which is so great. I'm excited to explore this movie. And shout out to Nikki also saying it's a great movie. More on that. Maybe I'll report more in a bit. Again, JustinJustin, waiting in line for the drive-in in downtown Stenciltown. Bye-bye. Okay, so I was just sitting here thinking, and one of the rules was you can't bring in your own food because, hey, support us by buying our concessions, because that is the way we keep the lights on. And it's Concession Concerns is here at the drive-in. The Movie Club Movies is here at the drive-in. But get this. I think they keep us waiting in this line. Not only I think they want the 60 cars to show up, but also I bet they're if anybody's got cold product, it's just gonna get warm in the car because you're waiting in line for this drive-in movie.
But the characters running the show made me chuckle. I don't know what was going on at first, but several suspicious actions took place in the cars ahead of me. There was this boss man sort of tow truck, big old SUV that was decked out in different tool shed, toolbox gear additions to a car. And it was rolling around efficiently and seemed to be taking care of business. I even thought maybe this person was going to hop out and get into the ticket booth. I never saw the person enter or exit the ticket booth, but someone was in there when I proceeded taking tickets. The first person seemed to pay with cash. The process to get the ticket was a lengthy description on rules, regulations, and how to act accordingly once parked inside the movie theater. It also needed me to measure the car I was bringing and count how many passengers. Now, I was just by myself. I tried to read all of this. Say, wow. Since I was on my solo, things came very simple, but you need to know how many passengers we're going to have. This thing lays out that it will check how many passengers and you will be charged accordingly. It also asks, I needed to measure the truck. I needed to measure the car, how high my car was, and I was a mid-size, but I was rolling solo, so it just became $12 some. It's most important to mention that these movie theaters run off of the profits of the concession stands, and they made that a highlight. TMCMS is there for the concessions, and I was really excited to see what they would provide, even if it was the minimal. I knew that I was going to do a popcorn and something classic, Sour Patch Kids. As I rolled up to give my ticket, the person was there waiting. I needed to have not only a barcode at first, I needed the order number, which I didn't even keep as a screenshot, but it was on the information I did have as a screenshot. So I tracked it down, gave it to them, and it was just that slow process of, let me check, okay, here it comes, it's gonna print, all right. And they asked me my name and my phone number, which I didn't really enjoy, but I took this big, round, almost horseshoe shape to the second screen. Take a right, follow the loop to the second screen.
If you can hear this, I'm driving into the driveway. I'm going to the screen. It is a long drive. All the way around to screen 2. All the way around to screen 2 is what they said. Oh my, it is, I don't even know where I'm supposed to park. I guess I just choose. And that's why I left the record on. I wonder where I'm supposed to be parking at. I'm just going around this circle. There's not a lot to this, but I am going to find a spot. Where would you park? I mean, I'm an aisle seat type of person, and I kind of go up medium high. I've really never described it. So I'm going to go up medium high, which I'm about right now. I'm going to go to this here and park and be right here. Oh, okay. So I'm to the left, which I like. That's what I like. I don't know how to really do what I need to do here. Let's see if this is correct. And I guess screen 2 would be the second screen because I passed one screen and kept driving around this bend to the second screen. Screen. So that's where I'm at right now. And I'm to the left. I'll have a pick. I'm going to sit tight. It's an intimidating place because you don't want to mess around and be in the wrong place. Things cost money and all this. There's not even a clear concession stand. I thought I've been to ballparks and stuff. I don't know that I see a clear concession stand. But I'm going to try that next. Maybe I'll hop out and check out what this building is. Okay.
The second screen faces the other screen. It could be confusing at first, but I just followed the loop knowing that there would be a massive amount of parking spots, which there were. And I was, at this point, the first person in line. Who knows where that other person went? Maybe to cook in the kitchen. I don't know. I rolled and got my spot the way I thought I would sit in a traditional movie theater. I like to go towards the aisle and sometimes towards the left when possible. Also, not midway, just above midway. I hope I don't blow up my spots, but that's where I parked my automobile. Now, I didn't hang right there at the aisle of all this. I don't know, I might have gone 6 spots in. There were a lot of spots at this drive-in, and I think I just got, about 3, 4, maybe 6 spots in. Still very close to the aisle, I gotta say. The sound came through on your car radio, which was great sound. Recently, I had a battery mishap, and I didn't know how to play this, where this is a 2.5-hour movie. Would I keep my radio on just days after maybe losing power in my battery? I'd manage by maybe going almost 20 minutes, maybe reparking where there were old speakers. That was just further back. Still, with the great sound, I followed the story, but kind of was still so excited and also paying attention to the screen above in front of me that I didn't really follow the details. And then when I took time away from the speaker to make sure that I could withstand the battery life, I also missed some details. And then the drive-in got much more active, and actually the sound nonetheless was sort of muffled out if it wasn't on the radio. So I eventually reparked.
I had to repark the car. The speaker was so loud.
But I had to park twice because the sound blaring from these old speakers that were the traditional way you'd have a drive-in with these speakers that you could put in your window, they were actually blaring. They were really loud. Adjusting to those speakers, and also it was funny when I reparked, there was a ton of silent moments, and then by the time I was engine off, it was actually like blaring sound. Some action happened, and I had to readjust during that because the speaker was so loud. I ended up having to repark the car because the speaker was so blaring loud during this dramatic scene in the sort of atmosphere or the orbit that they were doing so they could get a sample of the alien. I just couldn't hear that. It was just blaring loud. And I wanted to say that I also was missing a lot of the detail, and I could not get a hold of what was going on and where the tension was with the conflict of the spinning out of control or what have you. I completely missed like any landing of those sets. It was tough with the detail I'm getting on a drive-in. Something with a lot of detail. The Transformers, this movie, I'm missing a lot, and I could totally see like maybe a Scream is better. You're just dealing with emotions and stylized looks. I will say the control panels for all these spaceships is really delightful, and the use of the color slime green is really delightful, and that looks great on a drive-in. So moving into that movie, I just missed some of the detail of why Ryan Gosling Grace is so great, and also why the program is so great. So there were some subtleties I missed as dramatic things became intersecting, and I really enjoyed the colors of things. I thought when they get into space, some of those colors, when they really do change, were really incredible, but I missed tons of detail about the ships. Tons of details. It looked like a lot of panels with lights, and I almost feel like I injected my own sci-fi knowledge, because from afar, through my windshield, through my eyeglasses, down the yards to the outdoor screen, I just missed some. I didn't notice how incredible things could have been designed or something, or what was said on things. Some of my instant impressions also is this movie, even the trailer, but definitely as soon as we got into this movie, reminded me of Passengers, which fooled me. I kind of like Passengers, but then the whole time I was just like, but I don't want to like Passengers, but I don't want to like Passengers. My movie, they had previews and stuff. They also had, their own commercials saying, hey, please donate. Really, once that cut down, this movie just started. Did anybody else get that? This movie just was like, bam. There were some color splotches, and we were right into the movie. And that was interesting. I don't know if that was just, I guess I didn't get production or anything. But anyway, maybe I shouldn't put that on the record, but spoiler alert throughout this entire bonus episode. Spoiler alert for this entire bonus episode. So I don't know, like, I was having problems following along with some of the science that was going on. I was having problems with some of the science that were following along with some of the science.
No. Let's go, Mary. No.
So I was having problems following some of the science going on, and I didn't hear some of the objectives of what he's figuring out. I couldn't connect it all.
Is it this thing?
But now he's made his way to, I think, his destination, and he's clumsily finding his way around. I'm kind of like not digging the obvious humors. I'm liking some of the strong cast, but I'm also I feel like we're doing a lot to build that he's doing things because he's got this, he can't do things because of this, and why did he do things that we're gonna see. Like, I can't believe we just saw these like incredibly long funeral scenes, which is fine if we're respecting people, that's great, but I can see why this movie is long. We are really building up some stuff. A lot of the details are lost on me because of the drive-in screen. I'm missing a lot of the details of these ships, and I don't really understand the layout of things. I'm just following along with like whether or not he's excited or feels in danger or feels confident about something.
You're not tapping, huh?
Mysterious. Talk too much. That's my problem.
Look right now. I didn't mean to bother you.
Don't bother me.
It's such a weird party.
Is it?
Yeah, I was singing. Everyone's so happy. People are hooking up and they all know they're gonna die.
Camaraderie helps them.
You're gonna pull it off?
What, the whole thing?
Okay, so this movie is trippy and there are so many obvious references, which great, celebrating cinema of the past. The revolutionary movies of the 80s and stuff, and Kubrick and things that were doing really special things with space travel movies. There's also something, like, I'm loving a lot of things, but let me tell you a couple of silly things that really got me was, like, when he's like, oh, they need to watch each other sleep because they get knocked out and they need someone to make sure that they're safe, and then it fast cut to an American battleship, and it's just like, give me a break. And I really like the lines of bravery is not a gene, it's you have to find someone to be brave for.
Just stop your crowds, it's all the times.
Okay, this movie is tripping me. This movie is trippy.
This is something you say.
It's like surprisingly friendly. I think I missed a lot of detail at the beginning.
What? What's happening?
A hug.
Oh,
I had a thought that who is the voice actor for Rocky?
By themselves.
wait, I do the same?
Would you just get in here?
Who is the voice actor for Rocky? And I also, this movie is out there with the Rocky and
How do you
then
know when the hug is done?
the Adrian reference. What is going on?
Are you feeling it now?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What about the others?
I'll be ready.
I expect so. They have a great teacher. Can you take a compliment, please?
No.
It's an order. Okay.
Okay.
Manual mode activated.
Here comes the fun part.
Grace go out on hull to retrieve collector? No fun at all.
It's a joke.
Oh, humor. Confusing.
Words of encouragement. You can't just say words of encouragement.
Words of great encouragement.
Nope.
And repeat mission. You try again later.
I don't think the risk it'll be illegal.
Abort. Grace will die. No.
I can't really tell. Fudge. I cannot make out what.
Hey. Okay, question.
Well, I'm not dead, so yes.
Good.
Where is that noise coming from?
From all around. It's loudest at port side and bedroom.
Party! Dude, a super party!
Tearing the shit.
Question?
Prove now.
What is that thing? Fudge. Ooh. I don't know what is going on.
Elle has sent correspondence about her selection via snail mail coming from her anchored at Turtle Island, serving rainbow sherbet to the local tortoise natives. Elle says, Concession Concerns, my pick, Sour Patch Kids, but I sneak in beer sometimes. You blew my mind a few years back with the boba concept. That blew my mind because I felt like I was just like saying something that was coming to people naturally. Would you add milkshakes to that list? Because I even think that that was my language before I knew what boba and bubble tea was. We got to explore a new concession concern, which is onion rings. I'd love to hear your thoughts on onion rings being a concession concern in the movie club movies. Elle adds her favorite moments, fist my bump. Conversationally, she calls Ryan the golden goose because he has a very yellow aura and also has a fantastic agent. Every movie he puts out these days is solid. Fall Guy, pretty fun. I may have to say, I don't think he's phenomenal, but I place him as the new Brad Pitt, and that he's versatile and can wear many hats. And I completely agree, and I love conversating about this type of thing. Elle is great. I totally agree, and I put him in that, and I get that yellow aura, especially with these sort of bleach or blonde roles that they put him in. You know what I'm talking about. Let's throw this. I talked to Elle about that she wished that the movie explained why Rocky's crew died. I caught that. Rocky's crew died of radiation. Grace's crew death is unexplained. And then I was still able to check. Grace's crew was a big plot point. The reason for a dramatic karaoke moment. They sacrificed to get him there. Only 3 are needed. A pilot, a navigator, and a scientist. And one of those, I think the navigator, mentions morphine with a little helm is how she'd like to go. I think the pilot mentions I'll have what she's having. I kind of cringed. I didn't like the comedy in some moments of this movie, but I want to say I think I give it a trophy for going there. We need to laugh. We need to have problem-solving things that also can make us laugh, and I think this movie was at least making the effort to do that. Elle continues, when the boss lady drugged him, I was so shocked. Elle asked, what's the biggest challenge at the drive-in? I would say finding that good spot that you're going to get good sound and feel like you can see it. I don't at all criticize where I chose to park. I think I actually was perfectly fine. I think maybe with that said, the biggest challenge is maybe choosing the movie. Scream 7 was what was going to come after this movie, and I bought the ticket for that included in my ticket. It was a double feature, which was great. I had no intention of watching 2 movies. I had a long day, and I would rather be working on this podcast for the moment. I just didn't want to do the double feature. I wasn't ready for it. And also, I felt like that movie might be better, of course, like classic slasher, classic horror, what have you, classic action shows well and arguably on a drive-in. I'd like to try that next time. I think a Mario movie was playing in the other section. I think obviously an animated might go well, or at least trying it. Let me throw this out. That my personal history with drive-ins were when I was very, very, very young, we would go to them. And I think, maybe it was just tougher with us crazy kids, but I think that there was a stunt in drive-ins but we didn't really continue the routine of going. And also, I do think I went to one or two as like a 17-year-old or what so, and like driving us kids, my friends as kids around, and few and far between. And I think things like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters is the classic I grew up with. These type of things obviously could play well. I don't know if Back to the Future would play well into what I'm saying about the details, because there's lots of details you got to check in that movie. But just that there are these broad strokes of action and comedy, much more than there are in new movies. Because I would even add like a Marvel superhero. It would be in the same boat as this Hail Mary project. Action driven, detail driven, effect driven, and dramatic screen shots driven. So that's the big challenge. Thanks, Elle. Thanks, Elle, for your questions.
At times, I have a feeling we're getting Stalloned with the use of Rocky and the posing of sort of fist held high by Ryan Gosling's character, Grace. Are you guys noticing, like, he did this pose when he was really thinking about should he move forward and explaining to Rocky that he's going to pass away at the end of this research? He does a pose, and then Rocky made the figurine of Grace that's got a hands up, because I guess Rocky saw Grace catch the first message. So, but I don't know. I would love to have this conversation with you guys. What do you think was going on in some of these, the figurine and the look of things and the references of things? And Elle, great pick. I gotta check out these credits.
Okay, overall, I want to talk about my thoughts because I want to have a conversation. I want to hear what other people have to say about this movie. I really liked it. I thought it took us on an adventure. I felt like you lived the life of the characters. And I also think, a lot of my criticism kind of comes from that angle of like, that they really built a world. They were really making an effort to build a world, build a character out, build 2 characters, 2, 3, or 4 characters. I missed the beginning, so I didn't hear too much about who was involved. And the first time I saw Grace, I actually thought he was going to be like an action guy, like he was undercover or something. And we get right from the beginning, he is uncovering himself from like such a coma suit, which is, kind of organic and crazy. I think I missed some of those details. If that was really, really detailed, I just saw the general shapes of things. Anyway, obviously very interesting from the start, but I almost gave it big expectations of being a action film thoroughly. So it was really interesting to see him plop out of that suit, and I thought he was about to take defense to something. He kind of does, but I mean in an action way, in a big action way. So it was really interesting to get that impression. I do want to say his wardrobe as a teacher is suspect because he's already way too handsome. Why do we dumb down girls when they're supposed to be smart? But here we are. I feel like we prep up guys, and I feel like teachers are actually much more resourceful. They usually are like hikers, and they're also usually like maybe even on a budget when it comes to what they're wearing outside of school, where it is like, this is what I wear because it works. And I don't really feel like too many teachers dress like an executive from Mad Men, and I feel like he's dressed like Ryan Gosling, and you could say, that's knocking it out of the park. But I don't know, a couple of shots where he's dressed, it's like he is the biggest bro teacher I've ever seen before, especially outside of college. So I just found that interesting, and then that ties into, I agree with Elle with he's got a golden goose look, he's got a yellow, especially the way they shoot him after Drive and after the movie, the way they light the set, the glow of the set, the Gosling glow, almost like a Mariah Carey glow. So I totally agree with Elle. And he's also wearing a super bro-y hat at the bar with the karaoke scene, which was a big scene. That really played at the drive-in. There were not a ton of cars, but it was a very musical scene, and you could really hear it in the drive-in, which was probably very nice and charming. And that's when Boss Lady takes over and sort of, she almost dedicates by being vulnerable. Like, we don't know that she can sing, we don't know that she's much more of than a rock of a person, but here she is with incredible pipes, incredible talent, singing karaoke, and sort of like unzips her professional blazer is what I was thinking, because it was just like she's vulnerable and booting out this solo, and then she doesn't even sing the whole song, she does a lot of it, and then just walks out the room. So it's almost like, and then I buttoned my David Letterman double-breasted coat back up and I leave, and which she does. And that's a lot of the movie also, is just these obvious jokes, these obvious interactions for charm and chuckle. And I'm not over criticizing, this was my impression. I didn't know what to make of this movie. And when we meet Rocky, I was excited, and I also was just like, I didn't know what I was gonna get. Was I freaked out? No. I thought it was interesting that Rocky has an insect look to him at moments, but he's also got a very earthy, organic, like a stone. My first gasp was a rock monster. I've got some cuts. I wonder if they'll play.
But we're just seeing the alien for the first time, and I'm just like, I cannot see you. You look like a rock monster, but I'm not too sure what I'm seeing. I can see now the form as they're trying to communicate without scaring each other. I'm seeing some different elements.
You're not tapping, huh?
And it was a rock monster, so I thought that was really interesting. And then when Rocky starts designing the sort of suits and the safety ball he surrounds himself with, I thought that was interesting. And here's a good moment for me to say, so Rocky is like a living 3D printing machine, and maybe not machine, but a living 3D printer, Rocky. I also thought it was really obvious that it was like Stallone and Rocky, and there were several like military and American things that were just like bombastic and big and over the top, and also like so subtly mentioned and covered. And I don't want to blow up the spot on stuff like this, but I want to stay in the light of things. My first impression, I told Elle, was that the trailer made me think, doing my best to become and learn to become a better human and a better man, a better person. And I've looked towards and generated within this podcast content and thoughts about genders and people that are not like me, so to say, and other genders and people that deserve better opportunities and that have taken opportunity, and we need to see those things and talk about them, meaning that the content and the art and the creative expression we see from people that may have under opportunities offered to them. When I saw this trailer, I was like, yes, the Golden Goose, and he's an astronaut, oh boy. And it's just like, I like the angle that it's different. I guess for the first superhero teacher movie, Ryan Gosling is a good pick. You know, maybe if it wouldn't be substitute Roseanne, George Clooney era George Clooney, you know, it's Ryan Gosling. So you know, Jason Bateman, maybe Brad Pitt is aged out and too handsome for a teacher, but the idea that we get a leading man playing a heroic teacher with a realistic sort of perspective on what teachers can do in society and when called upon, you know, it's really interesting and a great angle to have for a movie. So again, I'm not going to over criticize this. I love the golden factor of this. I love the X factor of this is really great. I find that interesting, an interesting talking point. I like that the sort of third ending that makes things worthwhile. There are these sort of dilemmas they end up with. I actually knew that coming in. I was like, I bet this thing is gonna like be going back to go back to going back to go back, and we kind of do get that. And it also don't let me slide through without saying there are tons and tons of references to other sci-fi movies, which are just totally well placed, and also, some of the first movie club movies and recordings and writings I was doing, whether it was back in the screening era or getting ready for the podcast era, I really was having a perspective on movies about when things can be referenced really nice. And like a movie like Tropic Thunder, I really like because it's referencing things in other cinema, other blockbusters and so on. And these are not the first movies, but these are nicely done and stuff that I'm allowing on my shelf, so to say. So I really enjoyed that about this movie, and it wasn't over the top. The ending of the movie, I won't blow it all out if you haven't seen this movie, but the ending was also too muffled for me to understand, and that was a clear line that I missed, and it was the tying the knot of the entire movie. But I liked the ending, and I thought it was interesting. It also made me think and observe that Rocky, if not just Rocky, did not get enough screen time, because the ending was a flash, and I thought that was really wild. So an ultimate review, all in all, my overall movie review of this, or just to pass along my thoughts, because really it's a movie conversation, and Elle brought this to my attention, so thank you, Elle, for bringing up this topic of conversation. I don't know if I would pick this as a movie club movie. I don't know. I don't think it drops in that slot. I think there's some other movies along with it that could. I think Half Nelson is maybe more of a slight movie to put on the movie club movie shelf. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a bit too long. It's a family-friendly movie. I do think you should go see it. I do think you should give it a shot, whether it's just at a theater or when it comes out or what have you. I do want to thank Elle for making the selection, and I hope you liked this bonus episode, the newest episode. So stay tuned, coming out soon. The Movie Club Movies bonus podcast episode was written, edited, produced, directed by JustinJustin. Movie suggestion by Elle. As always, thank you to the TMCMS. Shout out to you, 2026. Recorded on a hype mic. Hype mic. Hype mic. Hype mic.
That's happened, huh?